Good morning. Myself Shagila Devi, Assistant Professor in Rohini College of Engineering and Technology. Today, in certification course of JavaScript and JQuery, we are going to discuss about the introduction of JavaScript. So, the topic which we are going to discuss is Introduction to JavaScript. So, what is the outcome of learning this particular module is on successful completion of this module, the student should be able to illustrate the basic concept of JavaScript. Next, we are going to move on to the topic that is Introduction to JavaScript. So, before entering into the JavaScript, we must know what is the difference between the client-side scripting language and the server-side scripting language. So, in server-side scripting language, when a client make a request to the server, so that request is handled by the server and it gives the response. So the request which is handled inside the server is done by using the server scripting languages. That is the server side scripting languages. The example languages are PHP, JHP, all these things are server side scripting languages. So what is client side scripting languages? If a script or a particular program is executed inside the client side itself, for validation and all these things, instead of burdening the server, we can do the validation part inside the client itself. So where this client side scripting is working is it is working inside your web browser. Okay, so the scripting language which is work inside your web browser is known as your client side scripting languages. So why we have to use the client side programming? So the PHP is already allow us to create a dynamic web pages. So why also we need the client side scripting? So because before entering into this concept, you must know what is static web pages, what is dynamic web pages. If it is a static web pages means if the content is always static. Stable means that is called as static web pages. If the content is changed over time means that is called as dynamic web pages. Consider if you are viewing the status of your cricket score. So that is a dynamic updated web page. That is a dynamic scripting web page or the dynamic web page. So here we are for creating a dynamic web page, we can use a server side scripting languages. So why we need this client side scripting languages? So that is part which we are going to discuss in this particular slide. So the first thing is usability. We can modify the page without having to post back to the server. So if we, in each and every time when you modify, if you're using a server side scripting languages means you have to burden the server to modify that particular page. Instead, if you are using a client side scripting language means directly you can update that within the browser itself. So that is the usability. What is efficiency? We can make small and quick changes of the pages without waiting for the server. So without burdening or without waiting for the server, we can do some small changes in the client side itself. And it is event driven. So it can be respond to users actions like clicks, key presses, etc. So what is the main benefit of a server-side scripting languages? It gives you security, compatibility, and it gives you power. So next, we are going to discuss about what is JavaScript. A JavaScript is a lightweight programming language, or we can say it is a scripting language. That is, it's a client-side scripting language. It is used to make web pages interactive. And also it is used to insert the dynamic text inside the HTML. So it is react to the event. For example, when you are clicking a mouse or when you are clicking a button, the reaction or the process we can done inside the client-side scripting in itself. So it get informations about the user's computer and it also perform calculation on the user's computer. Next, we are going to discuss about how we can use the JavaScript inside the HTML code. So the scripting tag should be placed in the HTML page head. So in a HTML page, we have head tag, right? Inside the head tag, you have to use this JavaScript file. So how we can insert this? You have to use script source src is equal to the file name of the script and type is equal to text slash javascript and you have to end the script tag. So JavaScript is an event driven programming. That is, it creates an interactive event driven programming. For example, if you're having a button, when you click a button, if any validation should perform, means that can be done by using a JavaScript. So we can say it is a event driven program. If you want to create a variable, means you have to use the keyword var. Then var space name is equal to expression, means that creates a string. If you are assigning, if age is equal to 32, means itself make it as a integer. So you don't want to mention whether it's an integer or a string or a character. If you assign a value, means automatically it takes that data type. For example, if I'm mentioning var weight is equal to 127.4, means it is automatically that particular variable is converted into a float. So here we are not going to mention the type. So the type is not going to specify. So it can be a number or a boolean or a string, array or an object or a function or null. Anything can be handled by using this var. So it uses some operators, that is plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus, increment, decrement, and plus equal to operator, incremental equal to, plus equal to, minus equal to. So all these things are some arithmetic operators which we are using in JavaScript. The precedence of Java and the JavaScript is equal. And how we can create a command line in JavaScript which is similar to that of Java. So if you want to create a single line command, means you have to use double slash. If you want to create a multi-line command, means first you have to use slash and the star. Then when you in the end of your multiple line command, you have to mention star and then slash. So what is the difference between single line command? It makes a single line as a command line. Multi-line command means it makes more than one line as a command line. And if you want to create or if you want to use any mathematical functions, mean you have to use the math object. So if you want to use a power function, means you have to you have to use it as math dot power. If you want to use a flow function, means you have to use it as math dot floor. And what are the logical operators in JavaScript is we can use greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and or not, not equal to. These things are logical operators. And how we can use the if else statement in JavaScript. So the syntax is if condition statement, else if the condition statement, else the statement. That is, if the if condition is true, means that particular statements are executed. Otherwise it checks the second else if part. If the else if part is true, means that particular statement will be executed. Otherwise, if all the if and else if parts are wrong, means it automatically executes the else part. And for loop. So what is the syntax of for loop is, which is similar to the syntax of for loop in Java. So you have to use for variable, that is where I is equal to 0, that is initialization part. Then I less than or equal to 100, that is your condition checking part. Then I plus plus, that is whether it is an increment or decrement. So based on your requirement, you have to use increment or decrement. And then while loop, which is also used same as Java, that is you have to use while condition then statements. So you can also use the exit control loop, that is do while loop. So in do while loop you have to use do, and then in the end of the do you have to use the while statement. So what is the difference between the exit control loop and the entry control loop is, while is an entry control loop where we have to check the condition in the beginning, and then if the condition is true, means the statements will be executed. If it is an exit condition loop, means once the particular statements will be inside the do will be executed, after that in the end we are going to check whether the condition is true or not. If the condition is true, means once again the do while will be executed, otherwise it terminates from the loop. And what are the pop-up boxes we can use in JavaScript? You can use alert. That is alert of then the message you have to give. Then you can use confirm box, and then you can also use as prompt. And how we can create an array in JavaScript? So for creating an array, the same thing, where you have to use. The where is a keyword you are going to use. Then the name of the array, and then you have to mention the index value. So if you want to assign a value, means directly within the square bracket, if you assign a value, that will be assigned to that variable. So here also the index starts with 0. So you can start, if you want to use the array means, you can start with the index 0. So what are the methods we can use in arrays? We can use push method, unship method, pop, shift, and sort. These are all some of the methods we can use in array. And string, if you want to create a string means, you have to use the keyword var, then the variable name, which is equal to, within the double quotes you have to mention the string. So automatically that particular variable is converted into a string. So what are the methods we can use in JavaScript? String are there, we can use character at, character code at, from character code, index of, lost index of, replace, split, substring, two lowercase, two uppercase. These are all the some of the methods which we can use in Java strings. So for concatenating two different strings, you can use plus simple. Thank you.